If that's what he said, that's OD.
Then I must have missed it.
Yeah, what's good, y'all? Back at it again with another reaction, and as you can see from the title, we're gonna be checking out Teeway's new EP. By now, I've already heard 2 of the songs, but Frank actually hasn't heard Dinner Time or Breaking Bad, so he's gonna be hearing all 5 tracks for the first time. Like I said, I would have already heard 2 by now, but listen, I don't want to hold y'all too much longer. Let's get it. Alright, so first up we have the intro, and I've been hearing some really good things about this one. People have been saying they've been wheeling this one up, and that it's one of the best intros that they've heard for a project and all that. So listen, let's get right into it.
Yeah, you're live.
3 minutes too.
You know we gotta take over this thing, man. See the company, man. No, niggas ain't safe. I remember back when I said I'm digging to the death, but the was on my feet, but I'm pushing in the trench. But I caught a fair chase, I saw them putting up the tents. You would have never thought we had the cream cushions in the Benz. Reminiscing about the ends, I just miss my nigga Tent, and I miss my nigga Buck. He was living with the shots. They put Molly in the box, that's my nigga, he's a boss. You would have never thought the dinger was a thing until it pops. Now it's mad when we step, he collapsed.
He said you would have never thought the dinger was a thing until it pops.
Yeah.
They pulling up in some real regular looking cars.
Yeah, but he said he was pushing the weight in the Benz.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I'm not gonna spoil it because he mentioned something like that in one of the later tracks too.
You'd have never thought the dinger was a thing until it pops. Now it's mad when we step, he collapsed out of breath. And that could have been some shit I might have had to regret. Now I'm staying with this bitch and she got crack in her breath. I'll risk it for a biscuit.
I'm staying with this bitch and she got crack. Yo, only Teeway can say things like this, yo. Like,
The funny thing though, in a way, yes, he can say it. You don't expect it.
Only him. Bando living, I'm shotted, I'm waking up to the junkies shagging. Like, we keep saying it off camera all the time.
Word.
What the flying. Yeah.
In her breath. I'll risk it for a biscuit.
I had to start right there. I had to start right there.
I'll risk it for a biscuit, cut slabs out the Rex. We had Morleys on the come up. Every day I miss my brother. Lost a runner, need a runner. Niggas know I used to suffer. Now we light up the gutter, cause he out
Hold
the
on.
charge.
I think I went forward.
Every day I miss my brother. Lost a lapsed out of breath. And that got. They put Molly in the box, that's my nigga, he's a boss. You'd have never thought the dinger was a thing until it pops. Now it's mad when we step, he collapsed out of breath. And that could have been some shit I might have had to regret. Now I'm staying with this bitch and she got crack in her breath. I'll risk it for a biscuit, cut slabs out the Rex. We had Morleys on the come up, every day I miss my brother. Lost a runner, need a runner. Niggas know I used to suffer. Now we light up the gutter, cause he out took the charge off of my little fucker. Cause my mind's in the gutter. When he ran off with a bag, he's a fried little fucker. Let's invest in the best.
You know, I think Teeway is Jamaican, and at this point, it's showing a lot more, in my opinion. Like, you could, people always say, the way that he speaks or the way that he spits, like his accent is like really thick and can kind of be hard to catch something sometimes. I think it might be the combination of him being Caribbean, if he is, and being from London too. I could probably have an influence on it, but I think his voice sounds really crisp here though, and I actually like the voice inflections that he's using. It's like something that I said in my Breaking Bad reaction. I feel like we're getting more and more personality out of Teeway as of late. And you're going to see what I mean when we watch the video too. But yeah, I'm liking this. This is going to be Potter vibes.
You know, I was thinking that off rip.
Like, like within the first couple seconds, like, this is like a Potter type vibe. Like, I don't think they've even made a track together. They should make a track together. Yo, Groundworks, pan that, man.
He's a fried little fucker. Let's invest in the best. You could have died for the winner. If my time never come up, I would have shined in the summer. He was bro once upon her. Now it's live when we buck up. Chanel and Dior, but I would rock up. Cause my mind's in the.
Who says he was bro once before? Now it's live when we buck up.
When he ran off with a bag, he's a fried little fucker. Let's invest in the best. You could have died for the winner. If my time ever come up, I would have shined in the summer. He was bro once upon her. Now it's live when we buck up. Chanel and Dior, but I went draft over Kenzo. Where did all my friends go? Where did all the 10 go? It's fine with a bad carb, mixed dirty with a benzo. For everything I lost out, I get it back tenfold. Chanel and Dior, but I went draft over Kenzo. Where did all my friends go? Where did all the 10 go? It's fine with a bicarb mixed dirty with a benzo. And for everything I lost out, I get it back tenfold. If my time ever come up, I would have shined in the summer. He was bro once upon her, now it's live when we buck up. So my nigga allowed to drift, but guess what? I know that's how it is. Made a killing off the weed and put Yola in the mix and put soda in the mix. Cat's coping off the thing and he telling me he ain't got a
You hear that flow? And this is like the most trappy he's gotten in his tracks, in my opinion. Like, obviously he's always given us that aspect of his life, but I think this is the closest to him like really talking about, like, he's giving us like lines about the trap or like concepts. But this is like, at least in my head when I'm listening to, like, playing back the songs in my mind, it's like this is like the closest to that. Listen, like, you're in there kind of vibe, you know what I mean? That's why I feel like it's so Potter.
He's also given like those small moments where he alludes to like the violent aspect of it, which he doesn't do very often.
That too.
So
yeah.
I'm definitely getting that, and I'm also getting the energy that he's feeling. Like the vibe that he's giving off right now is definitely like an angry, emotional thing that I'm not used to hearing from
him. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're getting so much more of him lately. Like, he's talking more about, and this is what we always say, right? Give us you. Like, let us hear about you. Granted, obviously, there's certain things you're gonna have experiences. There's gonna be certain things you have experienced, rather, right? That are gonna be harder to talk about, right? For all kinds of obvious reasons. But like, still, how can you talk about these things in a way in which we can identify with you and not get this same sentiment from another artist? And I think Teeway's been one of the best at doing that.
Yeah, the prime example is Honda Silva, how he opens the track. Like, Lost Little P was close to me. Like, that's the opening line to the track.
That's a fact. Yeah, word.
But he's sick, lost my bone into the fifth. Now I'm cold like a fridge. Niggas joking, they're sick. They don't own any sticks. Lost my brother to the fence. All but he's sick. Lost my bone into the fifth. Now I'm cold. Guess what? I know that's how it is. Made a killing off the weed and put Yola in the mix and put soda in the mix. Cat's coping off the thing and he telling me he ain't got a bowler but he's sick. Lost my bone into the fifth. Now I'm cold like a fridge. Niggas joking, they're sick. They don't own any sticks. Lost my brother to the fence. Got a cutter when I step. He was realer than a realist, so I love him to the death. Had a trigger in my bed, wetting niggas like the Rex. Shot my nigga double S, wet that nigga in his head. I'm a brown and look the best, but she hate it when I'm anti. We from two different worlds, she don't really understand me. Tell my nigga M, don't take the shotty in the taxi. But he said it's pattern, I ain't bringing batteries. My niggas up in Habsy, I just miss my nigga Patchy. I ain't Louis, but we should've called Simmer Don Jack.
I don't know if you clocked what he was saying. You told his man, don't bring the shotty. He's like, nah, it's fine. I don't have the batteries or bullets, shotgun bullets specifically. He's saying it's fine if we don't got the ammo. I think that's what he said. That's what it sounded like.
Like the Rex, shot my nigga double S, wet that nigga in his head. I'm a brown and look the best, but she hate it when I'm anti. We from two different worlds, she don't really understand me. Tell my nigga M, don't take the shot.
And also, you hearing the production? Like, usually I pick up on these things a little bit more, but the obviously it's not a drill beat, it's more of a trap beat, but the small subtleties of the voices in the background too. I think what that does is it kind of lessens the blow of how gritty the experience he's talking about is. It adds a little bit more musicality to it. And that's one of the things that I like when people use like the vocal chops and stuff like that. It isn't just for its own sake, but the way that it gives you a contrast, you know what I mean? Give you that balance and what they're talking about, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just want to point that out.
But he said it's pattern, I found it look the best, but she hate it when I'm anti. We from two different worlds, she don't really understand me. Tell my nigga M, don't take the shotty in the taxi. But he said it's pattern, I ain't bringing batteries. My niggas up in Habsy, I just miss my nigga Patchy. I ain't Louis, but we should've called Simmer Don Jackson. The only time I lacked is when that pussy tried to shag me. That day we should've whacked free, but the whack weren't levels. And the wrong batch of Bobby turned cats into devils. And I got...
He's getting like in there.
He's alluding to something that we do not hear from him.
From him, very like often. Like he talks about aspects of it, and obviously he's talked about people who he's lost and everything. Obviously to the streets, but also to getting incarcerated.
Yeah.
Right, but like now he's just like, here's a specific situation that happened to me. Da 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 da. And that's what I like about him. Like, he gives you these scenarios and paints them in a way that nobody else can say it. Like, they may be able to relate to it, but they can't say it the exact same way because it didn't happen to them the exact same way. And that's what makes Teeway an artist that I like so much.
The only time I lacked is when that pussy tried to shag me. That day we should've whacked free, but the whack weren't levels. And the wrong batch of Bobby turned cats into devils. And I got a fan, 10 raps for the bezel. And the junk car smelly, but man's gotta settle. He got lost in the woods like Hansel and Gretel. Chanel and Dior, I would drop over Kenzo.
It's not that it was a crazy line, but
it's the way
it
hit
different. It just hit different.
That's why it's like, I've been having to deal with the people in my comments about, oh, you missed the bar. Well, it's like, nah, sometimes y'all be wanting us to get excited over really, like, obvious things. You feel me? But, like, Teeway is the kind of artist where he can give you those kind of obvious bars, but the way that he plays, when I say obvious, meaning in terms of, like, it makes sense. When you hear it, it makes sense immediately. But the way that he places it is what makes it hit. You feel me? Like, I can only hear Metal Mouth Dental on the Wing, like, enough, like, so many times before it's not exciting anymore. Right? But Lost in the Woods, like, Hansel and Gretel, like, one, obviously the fact that he's from Norwood, right? Which I'm assuming, obviously, the nickname is The Woods. And then Hansel and Gretel, the story. But it's like, just the way that because he hasn't been giving us that this whole way through. Even like while I'm listening to him, I'm just like, damn, he's not giving us like that usual, really layered level of like metaphorical lyricism. He's giving us the storytelling lyricism.
He's venting.
Yeah. And now he's like, all right, we're transitioning into the project now. Like, get ready. That's what it's feeling like, you know? Jeez.
That day we should have whacked him, but the whack weren't levels. And the wrong batch of Bobby turned cats into devils. And I got a fan 10 raps for the bezel. And the drunk house smelly, but man's gotta settle. He got lost in the woods like Hansel and Gretel. Chanel and Dior, but I went draft over Kenzo. Where did all my friends go? Where did all the 10 go? It's firing with a bike car, mixed dirty with a benzo. And for everything I lost out, I get it back tenfold. Chanel and Dior, but I went draft over Kenzo. Where did all my friends go? Where did all the 10 go?
This beat is actually giving me chills.
Everything I lost out, I get it back tenfold.
Who produced this beat? What? Gold Notes. Shout outs to you if you're watching this. So on this channel, we hold the vowels. That means we're gonna get straight into it. And if you're new to my channel and you haven't seen a project reaction yet, I ain't saying it again after this. So just know we're gonna get straight into it after each track. But this time around, both Frank and myself agree that this one is just above a 9. So I'm gonna let Frank talk about the flow a little bit.
So starting with the flow, it wasn't anything super special, or at least not something that we didn't already expect from Teeway. We're usually hearing him on drill beats, so it's definitely a different flow from what we're used to, but it wasn't anything that was super, jaw-dropping.
I agree. Now, as y'all already started to hear me say during this reaction, the beat is very good. Now, mind you, we're listening to this one with the volume a little bit lower than what it could be, so we're probably not taking in as many subtleties in the beat, but based on what we are able to hear right now, this is a very good beat. As I already said, I love the layers of the vocals in the background. It adds that sentimental vibe to it, and it makes what he's saying have a feeling to it. You feel me? Like, he could have said those same things on a more aggressive beat, and it would just sound aggressive. But this time around, it gives me that venting vibe, like what you were saying, as you were actually listening to it.
So lyrically, Teeway didn't come with any heavy punchlines or anything super different. He definitely just came in like vented. He was just telling his story, and you could feel the emotion in his delivery.
I agree. Yeah, I think that's probably all it really is to say about this one. It was a very deep track. It's probably one of his most vulnerable tracks. It's like, damn, I don't want to underscore it because I can hear why people like it so much. But then at the same time, it's like, but is this really making me feel the way Teeway tracks usually make me feel? Like, even something like Feeling It, ironically, like that one does something similar. I think that's his other most vulnerable track, Feeling It. And even that one has a little bit more for my personal taste. But then as we started going through the categories, like, nah, it actually doesn't make sense why this one is rated so highly by other people. Yeah, lyrically, he did his thing. And replay value, I think Frank and I both kind of agree on this one. The thing about this, and the reason why I get to 8.5 for replay value, is because this isn't a track where I would open up Spotify, go to Teeway's profile, and play that song. But what this is something that I would want to hear if I'm listening to any one of the tracks on the project. Like, I'm going to want to hear the project from the top to hear the intro.
In the context of the project, this is definitely a very strong song. It wouldn't make any playlist for me, and that's the only reason it's actually falling below that number.
Not even story time?
Close. But it does give me intro vibes.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I think this track wasn't necessarily tailored to him telling the story, but more so just opening up the story that he's about to tell for the rest of the project.
That's a good way to look at it.
It's a completely different vibe.
That's a good way to look at it. I agree. As I said earlier, I've actually already heard 2 of the tracks on here, and I actually misspoke, so I'm probably going to edit it and put the 6 on there earlier, but it's actually 6 tracks on this one, and Frank actually hasn't heard 2 of them, so we're going to go straight into the dinner time video now. Yes, you haven't heard this. Wow. You've been holding out for a minute.
Yeah.
and with all of his tracks moving forward, like pay really close attention to his voice in the background. Like Teeway layers his ad libs very softly, but yeah.
Fifth king, he was on big hits, bust up fifth, but the fifth was his stress. Now I feel like Zach and Cody when I come home, I wanna go lift it. This a all new life in a bando kitchen, liquid turn to biscuit.
Wait, first of all, I'm already excited. This is giving me Honda Civ vibes.
You ready Honda Civ? I feel like this one gave me more Private Ryan when I was first no, you know what? Breaking Bad gives you more Private Ryan. I see it.
Oh, for those who don't know though, Teeway's Honda Civ was actually in my top 5 for the songs I was spinning last year.
Fifth king, he was on big hits, bust up fifth, but the fifth was his stress. Now I feel like Zach and Cody when I come home, I wanna go lift it. This a all new life in a bando kitchen, liquid turn to biscuit. 16 me F, I really was German swerving, I know they.
Wait, I've been listening to this song. I don't even think I heard. I think he said liquid turned to biscuit. If that's what he said, that's OD.
Then I must have missed it.
It's like you said liquid turned to biscuit. I could be wrong, but I guess it makes sense. Like a liquid substance turns to a solid substance. If that's what he's saying, wow.
Now I feel like Zach and Cody when I come home, I wanna go lift it. This a all new life in a bando kitchen, liquid turn to biscuit. 16 me F, I really was German swerving, I know they witness. Then I'm on a back road, no witness. Now I'm in a bando living with distance, and I'm feeling lost when I read this drug by making again no fitness. Neighbors read out this business, told that heifer to mind her business. You go for the grub, we fried and fished it, rubbing my eyes on Christmas. I never caught no bando sickness, but I got lost in a box like magic. I was a man from young, I'd rap from young, and it made my young.
And again, pay really close attention to his voice in the background. Like ever since I was listening to Feeling It like a couple months ago, and like because I was listening to it with my earbuds in, I was like hearing his voice. I was like, yo, he actually does a lot more with his songs than I realized. And again, that's why I always say about Teeway, every single song that he has that I've heard so far gets better every time I listen to it. Like even the songs I didn't necessarily feel as strongly about in the beginning, every single listen it gets better. Like I was iffy about Private Ryan at first.
Same.
I don't know what it was, but I was iffy. But the more I listened to him, it's like, yo, he's wildin'. So yeah, like all those little things, yo.
When I read this drug by making again no fitness. Neighbors read out this business, told that heifer to mind her business. You go for the grub, we fried and fished it, rubbing my eyes on Christmas. I never caught no bando sickness, but I got lost in a box like magic. I was a man from young, I'd
Lost in a box like magic.
Every time you listen, you catch something new. I've been listening to this song. You feel? I guess maybe because I'm listening to you, and it's like a whole different energy. But also, again, listen to what his ad-libs are saying, because it's so funny. Listen to it like with another ear. You know what I mean?
Told that heifer to mind her business.
I can't repeat it, but
but you get what I'm saying, right? He layers his vocals very well.
This business told that heifer to mind her business. You go for the grub, we fried and fished it, rubbing my eyes on Christmas. I never caught no bando sickness, but I got lost in a box like magic. I was a man from young, I'd rap from young, and it made man young and erratic. This DVT, no rappers, the man, them trappers, and really slapped it. I only had one manual car when I begged Big Bro to drop me the matic. Remember that day so clear when
you only had a manual car when I begged my man to drop me the what?
You know what's, again, I've been listening to this track. You know, I probably put it in the annotations too. I probably did, but yeah, different kind of automatic. You ain't talking about the stick shit.
I know.
Talking about a stick. Yo, Teeway.
Yo, it's early in the game, bro.
And imagine this is your first time here. Now imagine your second, third, fourth, 10th time, and this is probably like way more than that for me.
Miss DVT, no rappers, the man, them trappers, and really slapped it. I only had one manual car when I begged Big Bro to drop me the matic. Remember that day so clear when he needed help and his brother parted. Cuz said get out the mud, you cunt, I'm stuck with the fifth shit started. Now slap that riding sport, I used to slap cats and the mains with bargains. I come up off serving bargains, caught me a shiny rock, no carbon. I know bitches lie and niggas lie. I can feed my phone for weeks, now my phone no beast and I need a bigger line. Free VNST, we never had no peace, just free school meals at dinner time. I swear she only locked that one.
I'm loving it.
You know, I was iffy about the hook when I first heard it. It wasn't the vibe that I usually get from Teeway. And like, it gave me that more party-ish vibe. I'm just like, this is the sound. It doesn't sound as ignorant. Sorry. It sounds more ignorant, for lack of a better way to put it. I say that very loosely, right? Like, he usually is saying things that are super thoughtful, right, and everything, but this one I had that more. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna say something so you can get the feel for it. But even with what he's saying still makes sense, you know. But yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I rock with it though because like this is like a boasty side of him I've never heard before.
Exactly. I think that's what I'm getting at. Yeah,
it's one of those things where it could be a double-edged sword because like we spoke about off camera, like what you give us, we want you to continue to give us.
Exactly.
But he's actually giving us something different. In my opinion, it's working right now.
I agree. And again, I said ignorant very loose. I don't mean ignorant like he's stupid. I mean ignorant like just not intentionally being woke or super, like intentionally thoughtful with it. He's talking, you feel me? He's talking his stuff.
Get out the mud, you cunt, I'm stuck with the fifth shit started. Now slap that riding sport, I used to slap caps and amaze with bargains. I come up off serving bargains, caught me a shiny rock, no carbon. I know bitches lie and niggas lie. I had to feed my phone for weeks, now my phone no beast and I need a bigger lad. Free VNS TV never had no peace, just free school meals at dinner time. I swear she only locked that one time. Now she telling me TRL man. Now she telling me TRL man. I know bitches lie and niggas lie. I had to feed my phone for weeks, now my phone no beast and I need a bigger lad. Free VNS TV never had no peace, just free school meals at dinner time. I swear she only locked that one time. Now she telling me TRL man. Now she telling me TRL man. Drunk ass living in ruins, I just went through this shit like Susan. Two top of the dirty sock that's hungry, I brought this stick, no squeeze. 16, 2 hands on a rusty, fuck me, I need me one that's new. 16, I flew up, I far from Jeddah. Mom, no, I never meant to let her down. But we're gonna get rich together now. In the country flats with 1,000 smack, I remember tagging up hella, bro. And the week comes so much left.
And Clock High, he went into that flow and it came right back to the one right before it, I think.
I swear she only locked that one time. Now she telling me TRL man. Now she telling me TRL man. Drunk ass living in ruins, I just went through this shit like Susan. Two top of the dirty sock that's hungry, I brought this stick, no squeeze. 16, 2 hands on a rusty, fuck me, I need me one that's newer. 16, I flew up, I far from Jeddah. Mom, no, I never meant to let her down. But we're gonna get rich together now. In the country flats with 1,000 smack, I remember tagging up hella, bro. And the week comes so much leather now, all 14, and we read 2 10 at us. I was 18, chucking them boxes. Shout the lug, nothing less than 10 a month. But the social net man hella love. Now look how your tracksuit henna bro. I got dope ass shifts in my memory, and I don't want that shit in my head back. I got 10 off the 10 man, cause try fuck up my line with dead smack. I was 16 living with S, I was 16 running my man back dead smack. Are you switching sides, you a my child? Now you ain't even got no rights now. I'ma cop this drip Christ master, I took big losses to live this lifestyle. I can run trip back like rugby, fuck me, you know the.
You know, I'm thinking about it as I'm watching this again. I'm just like, Teeway also has a very specific aesthetic that he goes for in his videos. You could like he has like a very specific like direction with the lighting, just overall ambiance, and they all kind of have this. It's dark but very well lit, very colorful, all of that. Like even all the way back to like I want to say Bingo, Tramp, that they all kind of have that. I think Honda Civ and maybe Statements are one of those where it was a brighter video. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
like it's more daytime, but he does have that like really colorful aesthetic that he usually goes for.
Off the 10 man, cause try fuck up my line with dead smack. I was 16 living with S, I was 16 running my man back dead smack. Are you switching sides, you a my child? Now you ain't even got no rights now. I'ma cop this drip Christ master, I took big losses to live this lifestyle. I can run trip back like rugby, fuck me, all of the junkies hide me. And when I made man drip like monthly, it's back to country doing like iCal. I know bitches lie and niggas lie. I had to feed my phone for weeks, now my phone no beast and I need a bigger lad. Free VNS TV never had no peace, just free school meals at dinner time. I swear she only locked that one time. Now she telling me TRL man. Now she telling me TRL man. I know bitches lie and niggas lie. I had to feed my phone for weeks, now my phone no beast and I need a bigger lad. Free VNS TV never had no peace, just free school meals at dinner time. I swear she only locked that one time. Now she telling me TRL man. Now she telling me TRL man.
You know what I do appreciate about drill artists now, and I think this probably started with Bobby. I feel like this probably started with Bobby. We're showing people that are in a space where they're usually hard and rough, and that's how they present themselves to the public. Yeah, they're not doing that anymore.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
These guys are like in this video just having fun. They popping their bottles of champagne in the street. They got a random girl just standing there dancing, old man dancing. This is a fun feeling. It's taking away the grittiness of the lyricism.
I agree.
And just allowing us to enjoy the moment.
I agree.
When you're watching it.
I agree 1,000%. Yeah. Yeah, so this time around, I actually changed some opinions on this one. When I went back and I looked at my old reaction, I saw that I originally gave this one an 8.9. And remembering how this song made me feel when I first heard it, it made sense at that point in time. But as I said, every Teeway song gets better with every listen. So I'm going to talk about the opinions that changed, but I'm going to let Frank start by talking about the flows.
So starting with the flow, if I was judging based on just a comparison to Teeway alone, then this probably would have gotten a lower score than it's getting from me now. But for what it's worth, and especially how he flowed on this beat, he rode this beat. It was close to perfect.
Yeah.
I think I was just missing something that would catch my attention a bit more. And you know, I guess I probably got so caught up in the lyricism that maybe I didn't even catch
some things.
some of the changes in flow.
Yeah. For me, I just like those moments where he switched it up, and then it's like it just felt so smooth. It was just those smaller moments where you could tell you had to drag out the syllables of a word or something like that just to make it fit within the bar. Like when he said like trappers that really slapped it, like he had to really drag it out, and when his friend departed, like he had to say it a certain way to make sure that it worked. But other than that, like the beat is what really complemented everything else overall. And as I'm listening to it, I feel like it was when I watched Walks react to it, I want to say he pointed out a lot more things about the beat that I just didn't catch the first time around. Maybe it might have been Walks, I'm not 100%, but definitely this beat it's up there. I don't know if it's perfect, because it's just something about it is I just need more. I don't know why, I don't know what, but I just feel like I'm itching for this a little drop. But the vocals, everything about it, it's a really good beat, pretty much.
Lyrically, you already know what we're gonna get from Teeway every single time. He has not let us down in that department ever. And I don't see it happening anytime soon, if at all. But on this track, the reason it got a little under a 10 for me was just mainly because he came really hard hitting in the first half, and like he lost me in the second half. After a while, he did start to dial back a little bit lyrically. He came really hitting us with punchlines early on, and he didn't really do too much of that in the later verses.
Yeah, I agree. That's fair. Now, truth be told, the replay value here, I rinsed this song after I first played it. Like, just to hear it, see like, what did I miss, and then again you start picking up on more things, and it's just one of those tracks where I'd even let it finish before I play it over. So I have to give it a 10. Like it's Teeway, man. So we're gonna get straight into this next track. If he continues in the path that he's going right now, yeah, it's probably only gonna get better and better at this point, really and truly. It's gonna be 98's vibes, off rip. And I don't think I've heard anything from the feature, ZT. Show and prove.
Well, you're definitely showing something right here. Prove yourself.
Yeah.
I never call no band no sickness. I download drop when they knock, that's distress. And I should have got.
I don't care. I like when artists reference themselves properly. Like, keep in mind, this is coming right after dinner time, and he said in dinner time, I never caught no band no sickness.
Nah, this beat is different.
It's actually OD, right? Off rip.
I never call no band no sickness. I download drop when they knock, that's distress. And I should have got food bank placement, feed them things, and I'm still not rich yet. I could rap about beats, yeah, joke, I rap like smoker without no cigarette. And I wish that I had them in cigarette, but I change this skin like a beach up. When I'm holding a free bag, whiz, cause the winter's cold and I'm also like freezer. But the S don't think with his head, now the whole coastline and the heat like.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. He's wildin'.
I never call no band no sickness. I download drop when they knock, that's distress. And I should have got food bank placement, feed them things, and I'm still not rich yet. I could rap about beats, yeah, joke, I rap like smoker without no cigarette. And I wish that I had them in cigarette, but I changed.
He rap like smoker without no cigarette. It's like I heard it the first time, but let me hear it to make sure I'm interpreting it the right way. He's saying, if I'm interpreting it correctly, he's saying he raps like he's smoking people, but he ain't even got no cigarette. Jeez.
Like a bleacher, when I'm holding a free bag,
like a bleacher.
Things and I'm still not rich yet. I could rap about beats, yeah, joke, I rap like smoker without no cigarette. And I wish that I had them in cigarette, but I change this skin like a bleacher. When I'm holding a free bag, whiz, cause the winter's cold and I'm also like freezer. But the S don't think with his head, now the whole coastline and the heat like beaver. I can flag down shots by the beach and asylum seeker. She eagers a take a picture, I'm
asylum seeker.
You know what it is? You know what it is? He's doing this thing where it's like, I know he's saying something, and I'm just like, I feel stupid for not catching it because he says something right afterwards.
You gotta go back.
It's just like, start over. Yo. Like, I heard him say something about Frieza, and I heard him say something about Coast. I don't know if it's a Dragon Ball Z reference. It feels like it is.
Bank placement, feed them things, and I'm still not rich yet. I could rap about beats, yeah, joke, I rap like smoker without no cigarette. And I wish that I had them in cigarette, but I change this skin like a bleacher. When I'm holding a free bag, whiz, cause the winter's cold and I'm also like freezer. But the S don't think with his head, now the whole coastline and the heat like beaver. I can flag down shots by the beach and asylum seeker. She eagers a take.
Like, it's just the way that yeah, he could use the same flow, but the words that he uses with the flow creates his own flow. He says something. He said something asylum seeker. It's just like just the word choice makes the flow, not even the arrangement of the syllables. Because he's not giving us a flow that he hasn't given us before. Right now, at least not the top of my head. But don't piss me off.
It's getting like a beach up. When I'm holding a free bag waist, kinda winter's cold and I'm also like freezer. But the S don't think with his head, now the whole coastline and the heat like beaver. At the flat down shots by the beach, an asylum seeker. She eager to take a picture, I'm saving her name as Mona Lisa. The cats never come with whisk or burn out glass, so they take syringe. Mona Lisa, fucking eager to take a picture. Dope I stuck in my memory, mash up buckle and spare syringe. How can they direct me to the light and be never direct me with a kibble? Now I'm told just doing up fit.
How can you direct me to the light?
Dope I stuck in my memory, mash up buckle and spare syringe. How can they direct me to the light and be never direct me with a kibble? Now I'm told just doing up fit like next year up in the trap with Kit Kats. More bread on my tracksuit, Mitch Mac, fuck it, I'm waking up.
And I heard Quang do that when he said Kit Kat. I thought he was talking about like dark skinned women. People say no, he's talking about cats. I was like, oh, Kit Kat. Oh.
It's a ranger. Mona Lisa, fucking eager to take a picture. Dope I stuck in my memory, mash up buckle and spare syringe. How can they direct me to the light and be never direct me with a kibble? Now I'm told just doing up fit flaps next year up in the trap with Kit Kats. More bread on my tracksuit, Mitch Mac, fuck it, I'm waking up to fix that. Another reload means so much, but you know I just gave that bread to the stick man. Another reload, really a big man, flip that, chop that shit in a clip man. Now I'm told just doing up fit flaps next year up in the trap with Kit Kats. More bread on my tracksuit, Mitch Mac, fuck it, I'm
Are you hearing the beat too? It's just so many things going on. I feel stupid. I feel very stupid right now. Like this is one of those moments I'm gonna let y'all have. Yo, it's flying over his head. Yeah, this time around it is like, cause it's Teeway and he's wilding. Like it's actually like he's saying so much. And I think maybe if I was reading it, I'll catch it. Cause Teeway's the kind of artist where there's certain things that he would say, and it isn't until somebody else points it out that every time I listen to it after that, what he's saying is clicking. And I know he's saying some stuff right now.
Can you imagine how many spins he gets off of replays alone?
Yeah. Yeah.
The light and be never direct me with a kibble. Now I'm told just doing up fit flaps next year up in the trap with Kit Kats. More bread on my tracksuit, Mitch Mac, fuck it, I'm waking up to fix that. Another reload means so much, but you know I just gave that bread to the stick man. Another reload, really a big man, flip that, chop that shit in a clip man. Now I'm told just doing up fit flaps next year up in the trap with Kit Kats. More bread on my tracksuit, Mitch Mac, fuck it, I'm waking up to fix that. Another reload means so much, but you know I just gave that bread to the stick man. Another reload, really a big man, flip that, chop that shit in a clip man.
They want us stuck in a bando house where there's only one way out. Tell my bro that I'm gonna be the richest soon. No, I ain't rich right now, I was serving balls for scores. When I scored, they went out like Peter Crouch. Had bros that was talking lows, no code, give a fuck how they feeling now. There's a lot of
You know what I'm liking about this? I want to hear Teeway on more features. That's like having other people's voices to balance you out makes a difference. It's like the reason why I personally say that Born Sinner is J. Cole's best album for me is because everything he's given us after Born Sinner has been similar in content and everything, like in quality, but having other voices on it makes it easier to bear. Same thing here. Like Teeway is obviously a very good artist, but having more voices on his tracks, it prevents it from becoming too monotone. Like in terms of like the listening experience. So that's why I'm really appreciating this right now.
I wait till my bro that I'm gonna be the richest soon. No, I ain't rich right now, I was serving balls for scores. When I scored, they went out like Peter
Might be a
Crouch.
clavish.
Had bros that was talking lows, no code, give a fuck how they feeling now. There's a lot of shit I could speak about. Should I let my feelings out? But I'm on different shit about business, bitch, and I never needed clout. I used to keep Budge at Heather's house. Joe Fraser cut knocked him out. Me and bro came up from the trenches, so for my bro, man, I split my powers. Young, think out my room with packs, even though that I knew that my Margaret played. I showed him my 20s and 10s, blues on a bush like I knew where Margaret stayed. In my broski's house, J House, I'm a low life, I don't even know I'm staying. Got ran out the bando by Marley's, got PK caps on under way.
You know, I generally don't like when Teeway does that. When he does the thing where he jumps on like while the person is finishing their verse, like that's what happened with Big Risk. But then because the mix on this is better, it's better. You know what I mean? To when he does it, because I think it's one of those things where it adds a dope experience while listening to it when you have the other person's vocals kind of layered over. I think the reason why I don't like it in general is because if I'm already having a little bit of trouble catching what you're saying, I'm gonna have even more trouble hearing what you're saying on top of somebody else talking at the exact same time. But I like the way that it feels. It's like that transition happened out of nowhere. You feel me? And like I said, I like the balance in the voices, you know. And I like ZT because his flow added another layer of variation to the track. You know what I mean? Like he didn't really say too much that really has me like whoa, but you know, he's telling the stories, right? But the flow that he's gliding over the beat. You know what I mean? Yeah. Word.
Losing a bush like I knew where Marge was staying. In my broski's house, J House, I'm a low life. I don't even know I'm staying. Got man out the bando by Marley's got PTX. Pipe out glass so they take syringe.
Okay, this is the hook, so it works.
Stuck in my memory, mash up buckle and spare syringe. I can direct me to the light and be never direct me with a kibble. Now I was told just doing up fit flaps next year up in the trap with Kit Kats.
I like the way the beat drops and comes back.
Fuck it, I'm waking up to fix that. Another reload me so much, but you know I just gave that bread to the stick man. Another reload, really a big man. Flip that, chop that shit in a clip man. And I was told just doing up flip flaps next year up in the trap with Kit Kats. No bread on my tracksuit, Mitch match, fuck it, I'm waking up to fix that. Another reload me so much, but you know I just gave that bread to the stick man. Another reload, really a big man. Flip that, chop that shit in a clip man.
So we talked about this one a little bit, and I think we can confidently say this one is probably going to be the weakest track out of the rest of this project, because looking at those last two songs, at least just by the name and then the features on that second to last one, and after hearing Breaking Bad already, Teeway is such a good artist that even an 8 point anything is still going to be a really good 8 coming from him specifically.
So starting with the flow, Teeway already has that thing that he does. With dragging out words from time to time. Me personally, it hasn't really been a huge problem for me in his past work. I think with this track specifically though, especially with using it on the hook so much, it kind of got in the way of like the actual listening experience of it. It's like if I wanted to sing along to it, I don't want to be saying Mona Lisa.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's fair.
As for the beat, I felt strongly about certain aspects of it, just mainly because of my own producer's ear as well. When it first came in, we looked at it and we were like, whoa, this is different. Like, it hit different as a standalone sound. And it might have been just that. It might have been one of those beats that probably would have been good as a background thing for like somebody who does commentary or something like that. But rapping on it was very difficult, especially with some of the sounds that were in there. They were a little too clangy and got in the way of Teeway's vocals a little bit. I think one of the aspects of it that definitely should stay though, and probably should have been the main sound, was that vocal sample in there, and the 808s, they meshed very well. But that thing, whatever that thing was, it did get a little obnoxious over time.
I agree. I think it's one of those things where it was good for the opener, and then it could have dropped when the beat dropped. Because you know what's crazy? You're talking about vocal sample, and vocal samples are my thing. I didn't even catch that, 'cause I was just so focused on that sound in my head. It's still kind of ringing in my head right now. It's like a ringing. So I feel you on that one for sure. The reason why I gave this one a 9 for lyricism is mostly because, one, I know that there's gonna be things that I'm missing because it's Teeway. And even while playing this one over, there's things where it's like I know that he's saying something right now, but it's not fully processing. And I think that's kind of like the magic of Teeway too, and why I say every time I listen to his songs they get better, because he has that a lot. And even with what ZT was doing on it, ZT, he definitely balanced out Teeway. Teeway is usually the punchline, the metaphor kind of rapper, like the one who's saying all those clever things. And it's something like ZT was more so coming through with just giving you the narrative, and again telling you aspects of the story specifically through his eyes and from his perspective. And that is what brought the balance that I talked about earlier on with regards to like how I feel about J. Cole tracks, right? Or J. Cole projects specifically. You could be a good artist, but it can also be very easy to get tired of you, or rather just tired of hearing you. Not even necessarily what you're saying, but just your voice, your tone, your delivery. So having that contrast, and then again, the fact that they were able to balance each other out lyrically, that's the reason why I'm giving this one a 9. And then replay value wise, I feel the same way about this one as I do about the intro. This isn't the kind of track that I would go play just to hear a Teeway song, but if I was listening to it, let's say if it played randomly or something, I'm gonna want to hear the whole project. And any track that can make me want to play a whole project, I have to give it a little bit more than just an 8 for the replay value. And at the same time too, it also isn't a song that's very skippable to me. Like, I would still listen to it. There's nothing about it that makes me cringe. As much as I could do without certain aspects of the beat, it's still a very good song. Now, as I've already said, I have heard Breaking Bad already. I've been rinsing that one. So if you haven't already, make sure you check out my reaction to that. But Frank hasn't heard it, so we're gonna play that video for y'all right now. You're in for a treat.
one, but he turned his back. He's mad, that's A&E to the block. Big man, you ain't even made 10 bags. You fag, don't check the fag, get a job. You cheat it right up in the spot. Now I feel cheated.
Bro, is this a diss track?
Like you coming for somebody, right?
Yeah, kind of aggressive there, buddy.
Who got you right up there, man? Somebody ruffled your feathers?
I got it up to here with these cats.
My chest!
Focus.
He's got one, but he turned his back. He's mad, that's A&E to the block. Big man, you ain't even made 10 bags. You fag, don't check the fag, get a job. You cheat it right up in the spot. Now I feel cheated, no China run rock. 360 for breeze on my box card. Guess what? I made my like a pop. Check this. I hit the trap, got lost. I'm lost. Mum said better make it back. I don't know nothing about retail working, serving. I put weight in the flats. Deep in with razor and slap free trap. That's not 1/8 in the rap. I used to shit all over my doorstep, so draw 10 to my neighbor's dad. Junkies father a favoured man. I made it bang, the haters back. Dust burner like a sprayed it pan. My water white is breaking bad. Fuck that judge of the prosecution, they gave my baba.
Sometimes I want you to clock, right? So you know, see the track's called Breaking Bad, whatever. Obviously, it has the references to like the show Breaking Bad and all that. But peep the way that he like glided into the hook. That was the hook, right? And mind you, it was a verse before that.
Yeah.
And he just glided right into the hook, like.
Slap free trap, that's not 1/8 in the rap. I used to shit all over my doorstep, so draw 10 to my neighbor's dad. Junkies father a favoured man. I made it bang, the haters back. Dust burner like a sprayed it pan. My water white is breaking bad. Fuck that judge of the prosecution, they gave my brother life in a flash. He said keep your eyes on the pack, car man got pure eyes in the camp. My mate rich for the life I live, I'm a stupid cunt, roll rap, no cap. Skid rap pass, but they're rolling back. 2 tongues, blast, revolver, slap. I was younger when I needed that brand new number just for weed and smack. 30s up, I got dirty lucky.
You know, this is actually very random to point out, but this is the first time he's ever mentioned his father too. Like, he always references conversations with his mom. This is the first time I think I've ever heard him say anything about dad or anything like that. Really random, but I just wanted to point that out because it stood out to me.
Kid can't roll rap, no cap. Skid rap pass, but they're rolling back. 2 tongues, blast, revolver, slap. I was younger when I needed that brand new number just for weed and smack. 30s up, I got dirty lucky. 30s up, I ain't beating that. Fly them whole, I ain't serving fix, but I 126, not 2, that's 6. Took 6 free off a ganja farmer, karma. I could've conned the brick. Put big bread on my bloody step, done a bloody step, got stuck in it. Shout MZ, I suffered it in with a rack and pack and dozens of clean. I'm into lines like colouring in. The man got chat and they got no whack. Take this pack and run with.
Yeah.
Moment number 1. Because I know more is coming, but moment number 1.
Yeah.
Took 6 free off a ganja farmer, karma. I could've conned the brick. Put big bread on my bloody step, done a bloody step, got stuck in it. Shout MZ, I suffered it in with a rack and pack and dozens of clean. I'm into lines like colouring in. The man got chat and they got no whack.
And look at his body language while he was saying. Remember we were saying how he's giving us more of him, right? Look at the way he was kicked back. I'm into lines like colouring in. He's all kicked back in the little recliner.
Bread on my bloody step, done a bloody step, got stuck in it. Shout MZ, I suffered it in with a rack and pack and dozens of clean. I'm into lines like colouring in. The man got chat and they got no whack. Take this pack and run with the wind. It's something to die, it's nothing to live. Stuck in the ground like rocking a bitch. 015 on my loud and clean. I used to link gas by the council bin. I nearly got nicked on a northern train with enormous weight. I was more than pissed. But fuck all of that, that's mad. Big bro said they texted Zeta, but I couldn't give a fuck how you track. Knee deep in, I'm stuck in this pack. I wish it weren't this, they love how I rap. This big T-bro filling the 450, that's no signal, man back. Wanna be my but the price is peak, so I'll cut this rotten for 550. And you ain't even ride for yourself, so tell me, how you gonna ride for me? I told bro you ain't even want these things. Covered in white, no light GC. The cats got banged in here with teeth, one eye.
It's a lot, right? It's a lot to process.
First of all, before you drop this EP, who pissed you off? Because this Teeway, I'm not gonna say which Teeway is better, because at the end of the day, Teeway is Teeway.
Facts.
And everything I've heard from Teeway, I've liked from Teeway.
Facts.
But this Teeway,
it's different.
like, who are you mad at, bro? But I love that you're mad.
It's the junkie shagging, man. He shattered, man.
Somebody get him a new crib. He's spending too much time in the truck, bro. You need a bed to sleep on right now.
Damn, son. Maybe the junkies need a damn bed. Yeah.
T-Bo filling the 450, that's no signal, man back. Wanna be my but the price is cheap, so I'll cut this rotten for 550. And you ain't even ride for yourself, so
like, what's wrong with you standing on chicken spot counters?
Covered in white, no light GC. The cats got banged in here with teeth, one IC5 and an IC3. You say I'm in a 5-0 with 5-0 LIGO. We trap good, we all blessed. This big weight and I ride no rhino. Try no one off tap, that's a dick. Focus in the kick to the left, I rep the right, I possess with intent.
Yes, like that. Those moments were the ones I was like, yo, like again, it's like he's not giving us flows that he hasn't before, straight up, but it's the words that he chooses for the flow. Like you said, the rhino, and like I was in a 5-0 live-o, like, Jesus.
White, no light GC, so tell me, how you gonna ride for me? I told bro, you ain't even want these things. Covered in white, no light GC. The cats got banged in here with teeth, one IC5 and an IC3. You say I'm in a 5-0 with 5-0 LIGO. We trap good, we all blessed. This big weight and I ride no rhino. Try no one off tap, that's a dick. Focus in the kick to the left, I rev the ride, I possess with intent. Go out the way, no way, but
I possessed with intent. How did I not catch that well, when I say catch, I mean in terms of like, how did I not point that out in the first reaction? Like, damn, he said I was possession with the intent. Like, I didn't just have it on me. Like, nah, and just so I pissed him off. Like, cheese on bread. And no, I'm not Bayesian. Every time I say cheese on bread, people ask me if I'm Bayesian. I'm not Bayesian. I'm very Trini.
Focus in the kick to the left, I rev the ride, I possess with intent. Go out the way, no way, but I'll still juice him up for my friend. Then we done the action, Steven Spielberg, we hit the movie live. I sucked the weight, no live or wide, though I couldn't raise a 5-0. What we done in the 5-0, double tap like a tackle. Don't lose yourself for the crutch, no nigga.
Double tap like a...
Yes. Like, you know what's crazy? It's like, it's the moments that I know that you're gonna be like, and like it's happening like a split second afterwards. I'm just like, wait for it. Double tap like a yeah.
You know what it is? The reason why I'm not reacting so big the moment it hits me is because I'm like, I don't want to miss what he's about to say next.
It's like, and it's crazy because I'm pretty sure he's talking about like double tap on the trigger, right? But when I first heard it, like the way that I interpret it is like you can either talk about like double tap on the trigger, which is probably the actual one, but I thought about like double tap, like extra crazy, like double tapped. That's probably not what it is, but that was just the way that I heard it. But it's that's like the thing about music. You get opportunities to interpret it how you want to, but it probably was talking about the trigger, but yeah.
I still juice him up for my friend. We done the action, Steven Spielberg, we hit the movie live. I sucked the weight, no live or wide, though I couldn't raise a 5-0. What we done in the 5-0, double tap like a tackle. Don't lose yourself for the crutch, no nigga, man, lose it all for a high. I fly them whole white serving fix, but I 126, not 2, that's 6. Took 6 free off a ganja farmer, karma, I could've conned the brick. Put big bread on my bloody step, done a bloody step, got stuck in it. Shout MZ, I suffered it in.
And again, peep the coloring in the video, right? Again, it's another one of those dark vibes. Even the chicken spot, look at this shot right here, the blues, right? Even in that chicken spot shot, it had the purples in it, right? Even like in this one, you see the colors. And also, deep how he jumped right into, again, you have the yellows here. Like whoever was like the art director for this video, they did a very good job with the lighting. Like as I make more and more videos, I gain more appreciation for those things. Like this is very intentional. You feel me? But again, listen to the way he glides right into the hook.
I couldn't raise a 5-0. What we done in the 5-0, double tap like a tackle. Don't lose yourself for the crutch, no nigga, man, lose it all for a high. I fly them whole white serving fix, but I 126, not 2, that's 6. Took 6 free off a ganja farmer, karma, I could've conned the brick. Put big bread on my bloody step, done a bloody step, got stuck in it. Shout MZ, I suffered it in with a rack and pack and dozens of cling. I'm into lines like colouring in. The man got chat and they got no whack. Kept this pack and run with the wind. It's something to die, it's nothing to live. Stuck in the ground like Brock in a bitch. 015 on my loud and cling. I used to link that, but I can't see.
You see what I'm saying? Like he's giving you so much more freedom and like of his personality. Before he was a little bit more, I don't want to say stiff like that, but stiff in terms of like he had a certain demeanor. But now he's around different kinds of energy. Well, it seems like he's obviously around the same people, but like the energy around him feels a little bit more lively, you know?
Got no whack, kept this pack and run with the wind. It's something to die, it's nothing to live. Stuck in the ground like Brock in a bitch. 015 on my loud and cling. I used to link that by the council bin. I nearly got nicked on a northern train with enormous weight. I was more than pissed.
Like, even the way he said that, like, I nearly got nicked on a northern train with enormous weight. Like, it's like just that the way that he just jumps, yo.
With enormous weight, I was more than pissed.
Morley's. Shout out to Groundworks each and every time. Yeah, we're not gonna spoil it. Yeah. Yeah. So if y'all saw my reaction to this one, you know I gave this one 10s the whole way through. And now that I'm listening to it again, I definitely don't take any points away at all. Like, I've been rinsing this song since it dropped. So I'm gonna let Frank do his thing.
Honestly, I gave it 10s across the board as well. The flow, special. It was Teeway-esque with a little bit of extra something.
Yeah.
And I wish I could describe what the something was, but it was something.
He was on when he dropped this one. Even though it's probably a little bit early to say this one in terms of like what kind of things we would have liked to see, I still want to hear a Teeway and Fizzler collab. I want to hear it. Like, I want to hear the way in which they combine the aspects that make them so similar but also make them so different in terms of how they deliver it. I think somebody like Fizzler, his voice on this, I don't think Fizzler's voice would have did too good on this one. I'm thinking about it, I don't know, but I think that would have been like another layer of different that would have been fire.
This one had room for Zandos.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. I've been saying T Zandos and Teeway for a minute too. Some have said that they feel like the voices may not really match with the vibes. I think with the right production and direction, it can happen. And with a beat like this one, like it had that brightness. I'm surprised you actually didn't point out the moments that were very similar to Broke Toys by French. In my reaction, I mentioned how it reminded me of those moments where they did like the chops in it, and how when he pointed at the first time, he said it was the engineer that did it. I was like, yeah, the engineer did a mazo on that one too with those moments. And then the lyricism, like
it's Teeway. Like, I mean, you know, push weight, Rhino, it's Teeway. Like,
I was in 5-0 live-o, like, and then he got nicked on another train with enormous weight. I was more than pissed.
Double tap, no typo. Like, come on, bro. Come on. Like, there's nothing we can say that hasn't already been said in half the tracks that he's put out already. Like,
truth be told, yeah, replay value, you know what it is. I've been rinsing this one, so we're gonna get straight into this next one. It has V9 and KO.
Untitled O made this one, you know.
Sebs and Teeway is flipping unmatched. I'm liking it. Liking the ominous. It's very different for V9. Hey, come here.
I'm still like way off the sunset line, and I ran that back if the punks thing. Remember me, little boy on the bunk bed when I got 200.
I don't care. First of all, just the vibe that they have, that ominous vibe, and the way he just dropped right into it, like, I don't care. I'm running that back. I don't care.
I'm still like way off the sunset line, and I ran that back if the punks thing. Remember me, little boy on the bunk bed when I got 200 and the skunks in. Me SOT looking for junkies, and I got 10 for them when I butt them. Condos pop and I must did fuck, I'm stuck and I'm still not done yet. Told M10 coming, he's rolling. I ain't said a word, but he knows the motion. Brother S got locked for the mad thing, piss off our conversations. Cold this. Couldn't trust no caps doing my shit now. Got caps on the ship like Moses. I don't know about my myself, but he don't want to catch this cough, that's COVID.
I had 2 cats on the ship that's like something like Moses. And then yeah, the COVID. Yeah, you're right. That is the hook. He has a specific cadence that he uses on his hooks. Now that you pointed out, he does have like a particular cadence that does have a very yeah. You're right. Wow, good ear. Good ear, Mike.
Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem, man.
OT looking for junkies, and I got 10 for them when I butt them. Condos pop and I must did fuck, I'm stuck and I'm still not done yet. Told M10 coming, he's rolling. I ain't said a word, but he knows the motion. Brother S got locked for the mad thing, piss off our conversations. Cold this. Couldn't trust no caps doing my shit now. Got caps on the ship like Moses. I don't know about my myself, but he don't want to catch this cough, that's COVID.
He don't want to catch this cough. That's COVID.
Oh wow, that flew right past me. I was actually because I already heard the A coming.
He's in here with you, and I was in the doing it, right?
Yeah.
Yo, Groundworks, y'all are wicked. And then the thing is that like it's interesting that KO's on this one because they also had the cough reference. No, it was sneeze and Avengers, right? Or Rise Above Hate. So like the coughing and the sneeze, and the fact that KO was on both of them. It's just one of those like little things. It may not mean anything, but it's just what stands out to me, you know?
Then when I butt them, condos pop and I must did fuck, I'm stuck and I'm still not done yet. Told M10 coming, he's rolling. I ain't said a word, but he knows the motion. Brother S got locked for the mad thing, piss off our conversations. Cold this. Couldn't trust no caps doing my shit now. Got caps on the ship like Moses. I don't know about my myself, but he don't want to catch this cough, that's COVID. Took that verbal, heard it before. Up block settings, I'm letting it roll. Wet that down, put him on the floor. Scream on me, so fuck the jaw. Block spill, watch it pour. Watch it wet me, no like slows. Put him in the air, sure. Jagger, come back like your bro.
You know, as much as V9 does have some of the best ad-libs in Drill, I think the ad-libs are taking away from what he's saying right now.
Yes. But I think it's not necessarily what it is that he's saying in the ad-libs. This might actually be one of those moments where we have to give a little stint at the engineer.
You probably could have had a little bit softer or something.
It needs to be a bit more subtle.
Yeah. That's fair. Because it's almost like I'm hearing at the same level as the actual verse and the words that he's saying. So it's like I'm hearing it and it's like it's injecting itself in the line that he's saying in the way that I'm hearing the bar.
I smoke, stop the jaw. Block spill, watch it pour. Watch it wet me, no like slows. Put him in the air, sure. Jagger, come back like your bro. I'm a bro. I smoke, stop this calling me shit that bloke. On folks, I'm tapped. I'm free and fuck on chat and gang. That's cat. Put fuck off, show me your hat. Little pussy, you're a cat, don't get me, man, I'm a little bit tap. Ain't shotting those gangs, we shooting them. Beef can't end, so we keep reusing them. Things get swapped, we move.
He said, I ain't shotting no skanks, we're shooting them. I'm not selling it. Yo.
Me, man, I'm a little bit tap. Ain't shotting those gangs, we shooting them. Beef can't end, so we keep reusing them. Things get swapped, we moving them. That's if we hot or they hit after booting it. We from East, got hammers, we hooligans, driving, clocking it up with you on them. Jump out, whip it and ruin them. Hopefully dead, least to put tubes in them. Catch with them, you're included. Not a word said if they booming Chris. Pattern and clean, no loosen. Feds got no ends, but we threat, so assuming. Squad full of savages, problems we pattern. One way or another, we getting it done. Breaking the abrupt, burning the rubber, raising the gun, I'm seeing them run. I ain't said a word, but he knows the motion.
I think Teeway is doing that, having like the hook jump in while the other person is doing. This is like the third time he's done it. He's done it one time on this track, this time here, and then in Big Risk. That's how him and Millions did the back and forth.
You know what it is too though?
What's up?
In drill, there's like 3 different types of timing.
Yeah.
When it comes to people's flows. There's the people that come in before the beat drop. There's the people that come in way after the beat drop.
And on
there's
the
people
beat
that
drop.
are on it. And he's one of those people that comes in before the beat drop every time. Every single time.
Yes, you're right. Huh.
Somebody like Pop Smoke would be the person that comes in after. Like, boom, sweetheart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Good air, mate. Wow.
Full of savages, problems we pattern. One way or another, we getting it done. Breaking the abrupt, burning the rubber, raising the gun, I'm seeing them run. I ain't said a word, but he knows the motion. But S got locked for the mad thing, pissed off our conversations, told it. Couldn't trust no caps with my shit now, got caps on the ship like Moses. I don't know about my man self, but he don't want to catch just cough, that's COVID. Niggas brag about run man down, they come like hoes just doing the whole shit. I could chop the fuck out the bando sofa, surfing like I was homeless. Now pay whatever the rent is, I don't wanna rent this, I wanna own it. Free bro, we try put him to rest. Fuck, he never saw me was loaded. What I done for the bands is mad, what I did for the bank, I don't think you did. And he told me I'm taking a piss, come back home, I'm selling you stupid. When the boots unlocked, then we use it. Ask that question, niggas that stupid. You got filled when a man them spun it. Someone done it, I don't know who did.
This is a lot more drilly for Teeway than usual. And I'm not sure if I'm liking it as much for him. Obviously, that aspect is going to be tied into the trap life, but it feels a lot more overtly on the drilling side than the trapping side. And it's like, maybe it could be I'm just used to a particular direction. Maybe it could just be I'm just not really feeling it coming from him right now. I don't know. I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% like how I feel about it. I feel like I'm used to him giving those kinds of references in like one-off lines or something like that. But to hear like whole segments reference to it, it feels kind of weird.
Yeah, I guess that's attributed to like the shift in energy in this project as a whole.
Yes.
I genuinely feel like something happened before this project.
That's fair.
Like that.
That's fair.
He's he's alluding to experiences that he never alluded to before. So it's either that these are probably new experiences,
or things he's just now allowing himself to kind of tap into. One or the other. That's fair. Yeah.
They see that it's long. 3 of my friends ain't seen them in long. Even when wrong, I got their side. It's only right if we got bond. Right. If not, then it's odd. Put in for my set and have no regret. He has no respect. I'll see him and set it. Hear that we come and suggest new exit.
Listen to the beat. Hear those small moments in the beat. It's like, Those are the things that I'm trying to like make sure I catch when I'm listening to these beats, because they be dropping some like really interesting small things.
And have no regret. He has no respect. I'll see him and set. Even when wrong, I got their side. It's only right if we got bond. Right. If not, then it's odd, put in for my set and have no regret. He has no respect, I'll see him and set it. Hear that we coming, suggesting you exit. Gone. Pull it and bang, eager to bun them ever so desperate. Pull it, eject, they'll see the effect. Pull up correct and leave it a mess. Bullets will slap, they eating your flesh. Ain't pulled my hand, seeing them jet. They full of the chat, got it full up with lead. Ride until us, free to the death. He got back us. Pop the store, they dust. Trip up all the cut alive. You're fucked, look in my eyes. You're done, stick it off and how could he trust? Fuck with them, get rocked.
Yo, V9 is he's too funny. He's just too funny.
He gets on a track and forgets he's rapping sometimes.
just be talking his shit. Just be talking his shit. Like, yeah.
Ride until us, free to the death. He got back us. Pop the store, they dust. Trip up all the cut alive. You're fucked. You're done, stick it off and how.
And I say this in my V9 reactions. I like that he does those dramatic pauses because it makes whatever he says afterwards slap way more than it needs to. Like he didn't say anything crazy. It's just the way that he delivers it. It's the suspense, but he's gonna say it. And he's like, ah.
Yeah, you're. Oh, that's what. Okay. Okay.
Pop the store, they dust. Trip up all the cut alive. You're fucked, look in my eyes. You're done, stick it off and how could he trust? Fucking with them, get rocked with his tongue. Speaking code, speaking tongues. Get left in dung. Lose a love when gun gets found. Don't get struck and stuck. Left in the mud. You got chingy, run out of luck and blood. Yuck.
Yo.
First of all, he said he ran out of luck and blood.
Yuck. V9, if you ever watch this, I'm not laughing at you. I'm actually laughing with you because, like, you really fun. You're just fun. Like, you just get to a point where you be on a track and, like, the first verse, you're like, yo, V9 is spit on me, spit. And then the next verse, you're just like, yeah, yuck.
You ran out of blood. Yuck.
Don't get struck and stuck. Left in the mud. You got chingy, run out of luck and blood. Yuck. Don't be dumb. These both are fat as fuck.
All you can do is throw your hands up. Like.
All right.
V9.
So I'm a little bit conflicted about this one. I feel like looking at this lineup, I had very high expectations, but I feel like all three of them delivered kind of just below the level that we would expect from them on like their own tracks or maybe on like a feature with one other person. I think that across the board, there was a level of underwhelmingness out of this one. It's not to say that it was bad because for all of them, their average is still above the average. So that's why I'm feeling very conflicted. Like it's not bad, but it's like something more could have happened here. I feel like the flows are definitely one of the things that's really hooking me into this one. I think that all of them delivered very signature aspects of their flow. Like every single one of them, I'm really thinking about, they all had their signature flows, but there weren't any moments that really captivated me flow-wise. Their flows more so kept me engaged. They didn't surprise me or really just move me.
This beat was a great beat. Mm-hmm. It's not a bad beat. Yeah. I also don't think it was a bad beat selection for these artists in general. I think for this track specifically, what it didn't do was balance out the energy that they didn't bring lyrically.
Yeah.
Like prime example would be somebody like Fabio Foreign, right?
Yeah. You
don't expect Fabio to give you, the hottest 16 bars that you'll hear in drill.
Yeah.
But because the beat slaps so hard, you just appreciate what he's saying already.
So much more.
So with this one, it was like they kind of didn't come with the super high energy, so that beat needed to compensate for that, and that's not exactly what I got from it.
Yeah, that's a fair perspective on this one. I think that lyrically, what's inching me closer towards that 8.5 is that there were the moments from Teeway and KO that made me like, okay. And then even with V9, like those moments where he was having fun with it, like I have to acknowledge it as part of lyricism too, because it's his lyrics that made me do that, right? So it may challenge your perspective of what lyrical means to a degree similar to 5e, right? Like Fabio Foreign, while he may not be spitting, as you said, the hottest 16, right? He's still giving you things that when you hear it, like you just can't help but vibe to. You can't help but feel something when you hear it. That's lyricism. That's music. So that's ultimately how I feel about this one lyrically. And then with the replay value, again, it isn't one that I would skip, but it's not one that I would jump to.
Honestly speaking, too, I gave it kind of below an 8 for replay value. It's not that it's a bad song. We're trying to make sure we let you know that it is not a bad song.
Yeah.
Usually, I'll probably give a track an 8 if I think that I'll probably listen to it and not skip it. But honestly, if I was to listen to this project, I can't guarantee I'm gonna listen to this song again straight through.
That's fair.
And it's just that it just wasn't what I was expecting from this lineup of artists.
I agree. I think that they all held some punches a little bit. I think they all held a little bit of punches. And for those who really feeling it, like, I understand why you're feeling it. I think that part of the reason why some people are probably feeling it is just the excitement of seeing these names on a track. First and foremost, I think anybody in general, they're gonna get happy when they see 98s, anybody from the 98s together, and then seeing Teeway collaborating. Again, Teeway is not a super big collab artist. A majority of his lineup in terms of his discography is pretty much singles, like just him. Like he has the sprinkles, he has his features with Millions, with Meeks. You feel me? He has the features on this one, but I feel like that's probably a part of the reason why this one is being received so well from some people. It's just the excitement of hearing all of their voices and hearing all of the aspects that still are unique to them together. I think that's probably why they're feeling it so much. But again, their average is still above average. And now we're gonna jump straight into Cutlery. This was another one that people had very strong opinions about, so I want to see what it's saying. Is this Seb's? Sounds like it would be Seb's. I'm the best. I'm actually the best.
It's giving me the same vibes as the intro already.
It's popping where I lock it. Gotta watch where they're bopping. Watch the 30 spinning out.
Good ear.
Popping where I lock it, gotta watch where they're bopping. Watch the 30 spinning out and the doc's coffin. I got sticky fingers, if I want it, I'm a robbing. I'm 20 bags up in Western, I ain't even shopping.
I never heard Teeway say anything like that.
Like that aggressively, like if I want it, I'm gonna rob him. Like,
never.
Whoa. Okay.
Popping where I lock it, gotta watch where they're bopping. Watch the 30 spinning out and the doc's coffin. I got sticky fingers, if I want it, I'm a robbing. I'm 20 bags up in Western, I ain't even shopping. In my time managed, all kind of lines banging. First saw 5 figures, I was trying to buy hammers. Only just 5 minutes, then he would've died snapping. And they can't afford the drip, so niggas on a live fashion. What the fuck am I planning? Never used to like rapping. Other side, ever slide, I fill it with band rapping. Try to tell your guy cabbage.
That flow, right? Again, it's the way that he picks the words.
Other side of a slide, I feel it.
Other side of a slide, like what?
My planning, never used to like rapping. Other side of a slide, I fill it with band rapping. Try to tell your guy cabbage, broad day leakings. I don't weigh the losses, I just wanna break even. All I know is slip her back, I can't even hit the sack. Rocks into rose gold, all the risks I did for that. Got her more silly back, now she wanna fling it back. 2 hands on a turner, would've turned Timmy man. Tried it in a minute.
This is very different from Seb's one. The bounce on it, the bounciness. It's like I'm liking the way that the bass. It's like it's not overwhelming with it, but it's adding another layer. I don't know how to say it. Wait, what are you thinking?
It's like one of those where you wouldn't have known what to expect on it. Like you could have came with somebody like Abs, you know, understand? And we live in you could have brought that on this beat. But it's also like cypher-esque, like
that's what you're saying, like that kind of calmness to it. Yeah. Wow, Seb's. I keep saying Seb's and Teeway, it's like
can't even hit the sack. Rocks into rose gold, all the risks I did for that. Got her more silly back, now she wanna fling it back. 2 hands on a turner, would've turned Timmy man. Tried it in a mini cap, I don't wanna hug a strip.
Run that, hold up, run that.
Hit the sack, rocks into rose gold, all the risks I did for that. Got her more silly back, now she wanna fling it back. 2 hands on a turner, would've turned Timmy man. Tried it in a mini cap, I don't wanna hug a strip. Try to get me bang to racks, no like flashing quids. I don't even trust a dad, am I gonna trust a bitch? In real life nothing's quick, I'm trying to make money flip. My 2 times really stick back, now she wanna fling it back. 2 hands on a turner, would've turned Timmy man. Tried it.
Add us to story time right now.
In a a mini cap. I don't wanna hug a strip. Try to get me bang to racks, no life, flushing quids. I don't even trust a dad. Am I gonna trust a bitch? In real life, nothing's quick. I'm trying to make money flip. My 2 tons really slaps. No armor, you're dead. And if the drop's really bad, I'll pay an arm and a leg. Pussy nigga switch sides. Never be my friend again. Told S we need a...
Again, he's talking a lot more personally now.
Something happened.
You feel like it?
Something happened.
Because this is definitely a big flip switch from what we've heard from Teeway before. And again, we could be right. It could just be things that he's just now choosing to be more vocal about. Maybe something hasn't happened, and now it's like, no, I could tap into these emotions and these experiences because I'm not as, like, riled up by it anymore. So, like, now he's kind of, maybe he may sound more riled up by it because he's channeling that into the music. It could be either or. It could be something has happened recently, relatively recently, or it could be he's using the music as a way to kind of channel those emotions for the track. But either way, wow.
In real life, nothing's quick. I'm trying to make money flip. My 2 tons really slaps. No armor, you're dead. And if the drop's really bad, I'll pay an arm and a leg. Pussy nigga switch sides. Never be my friend again. Told S we need a farm. We put a farm in the tent. I know how to hustle phones. Money comes, money goes. Run into the bag now. My nigga got a running up.
You hear that, right? That beat.
And it's giving you that feeling like you about to pick up.
And if the drop's really bad, I'll pay an arm and a leg. Pussy nigga switch sides. Never be my friend again. Told S we need a farm. We put a farm in the tent. I know how to hustle phones. Money comes, money goes. Run into the back.
I said put a farm in a tent. I heard it, but it's like when I'm really looking at the visual of it, like wow. Like it was like, yeah, we gotta do what we gotta do. So we gotta set this tent up and we're gonna start farming. Wowzers.
Really bad, I'll pay an arm and a leg. Pussy nigga switch sides, never be my friend again. Told S we need a farm, we put a farm in the tent. I know how to hustle phones, money comes, money goes. Run into the bag now, my nitty got a runny nose. No job running clothes, backs in the bracky.
My nitty got a runny nose. It's not that crazy of a bar, it's not that serious, but it's just the fact that he's saying it. Nobody else is saying something like that. Like nobody is saying something that specific. My nitty has a runny nose. Like wow, they're people. You know, they usually talk about them as just consumers. It's just like these objects in my experience. Like, yeah, there's a nitty, there's a cat, da da da. But he's like, my nitty has a runny nose. Like, it kind of inadvertently adds a little bit more of a humanization to it. I could probably just be thinking a little bit too deeply, but that's just the way I'm feeling when I hear things like that. Teeway, you're a genius.
Run into the bag now, my nigga got a runny nose. No job running clothes, backs in the bracky nose. Hoes really give the drop, I ain't fucking funny hoes. Fake niggas spotted me, that's not my cup of tea. Remember I lost the line, real couple luckily. 2 weeks back again, last week fuckery. I come like a dinner lady, I'm carrying cutlery.
I was waiting for the line, I knew it was coming. I was like, I hear the uri. I was like, alright, where's cutlery coming? What is gonna be the line where he's gonna say cutlery? That's all I'm gonna be something kind of just like, it's there. I waited for it. I knew. I was like, what's gonna be the punchline? Because it's gonna be something that's gonna be like a Teeway bar, where it's something that's so simple, but within the context, it slaps so much harder as a metaphor.
Yes, we need a farm, we put a farm in the tent. I know how to hustle phones, money comes, money goes. Run into the bag now, my nigga got a runny nose. No job running clothes, backs in the bracky nose. Hoes really give the drop, I ain't fucking funny hoes. Fake niggas spotted me, that's not my cup of tea. Remember I lost the line, real couple luckily. 2 weeks back again, last week fuckery. I come like a dinner lady, I'm carrying cutlery. Love is cheap, so it's really stuck.
I don't care, I'm listening to it again. I don't care, I want to hear that again. I want to hear that hook again. I want to.
Bag now, my nigga got a runny nose. No job running clothes, backs in the bracky nose. Hoes really give the drop, I ain't fucking funny hoes. Fake niggas spotted me, that's not my cup of tea. Remember I lost the line, real couple luckily. 2 weeks back again, last week fuckery. I come like a dinner lady, I'm carrying cutlery. Love is cheap, so it's really stuck on me. If I never had a bag, would she really fuck with me? Like the dinner lady, I'm just rolling with this cutlery. They were never busting me, I got it off my own back. I really had to phone access before I had my own strap. Tell it in a rap so I could tell it by the throwbacks. Told my cuz he don't talk, I can never phone back. I just heard a weird sound, I think that this phone tap. Got it for my bros bird, Lizzie and I sold dirt. TT phenomenal, and it's got him so burst. I feel got a nut and nose, touched me and a pole burst. Started with the groundworks, now I got my own bros. And losing your phone feels worse than when your bros doors. 3 for a score 5, all I know's the old doors. The line, real couple luckily. 2 weeks back again, last week fuckery. I come like a dinner lady, I'm carrying cutlery. Love is cheap, so it's really stuck on me. If I never had a bag, would she really fuck with me? Like the dinner lady, I'm just rolling with this cutlery. They were never busting me, I got it off my own back. I really had to phone access before I had my own strap. Tell it in a rap so I could tell it by the throwbacks. Told my cuz he don't talk, I can never phone back. I just heard a weird sound, I think that this phone tap. Got it for my bros bird, Lizzie and I sold that. TT phenomenal, and it's got him so burst. I feel got a nut and nose, touch me and I pole burst. Started with the groundworks, now I got my own bills. And losing your phone feels worse than when your bro stores. 3 for a score 5, all I know's the old doors. I can't even link S, I can't even phone Jules. You know I got my bro store, Mully the most real. And I have to hustle phones, money comes, money goes. Run into the bag now, my nigga got a runny nose. No joke running clothes, backs in the back he knows. Hoes really give the drop, I ain't fucking funny hoes. Fake niggas spudding me, that's not my cup of tea. Remember I lost the line, rock couple luckily. 2 weeks back again, last week fuckery. I come like a dinner lady, I'm carrying cutlery.
Knife and forks. I'm not gonna hold you, I want to play out the whole thing again. This is absolutely what we wanted out of an outro from Teeway. It caught me off guard, like there were elements of it that were kind of new for Teeway, but they made sense within this project, and it definitely was an allusion to that very first track as well. Even down to the flows, like it had that trappy vibe to it. It had aspects that reminded me of Potter, but it was also a moment where we were trying to figure out whose flow that something he was saying reminded us of. And it wasn't until we kind of kept repeating it to ourselves that we realized it was J Hus. I can't put my hand, there's somebody's flow that this is reminding me of, and it's pissing me off because I can't remember.
J Hus.
What song?
Who's really unstuffed? One man, show man enough love. Be for some gut. Is it must be? It is must be.
Then it must be. I seen a man fucked up, seen a man locked up, blammed up, chopped up, downtown up top.
Like this one, it had just the right layering to his flows, and on top of that, he matched the beat so well. But I think the reason why it doesn't hit towards that 9-5-10 is because the flow itself didn't completely sweep me away at any points in time. It just completely captivated me how well he was flowing on this beat.
And just as you've already touched on the beat a little bit too, this beat was perfect for this.
Yeah.
Perfect for an outro.
Yeah.
Could have been used as an intro.
Yeah.
It was just perfect for it. There were no moments that felt like they were just dragged along. I know that in this genre, in this day and age of hip hop now, we tend to hear beats where we're just hearing a loop over and over.
Yes.
This was not one of those.
It had fluctuation to it.
Yes. They had moments where you knew what was coming next. Like either there was going to be an energy shift or a shift in the story that he was telling.
Yes.
And then those moments actually did happen.
Yes, that's fair. And even just those small moments where I had to skip with the beat, and just how bouncy the bass was perfect. And it also complemented what he was saying on it too. Like what we were saying earlier with how when you have a certain vibe, it can kind of counteract and perfectly balance the grittiness. That's what this one did with the beat and how it went so hand in hand with his lyricism. The way that he told those stories, it had a certain layer where it's like it was very gritty what he was talking about, but you could bounce to it. You could like really vibe to what he's saying, and it kept you like, what are you gonna say? What are you gonna say? And even when I knew he was gonna say cutlery because I saw the title of it and I heard the rhyme scheme, and it's just like, alright, when is it gonna hit me? Like I know it's about to pull up. And then he said it, and I was like, yo. And even just the way that he talked about cutlery, we know what he means. It is not an extremely like indirect metaphor or reference. He's talking about knives, he's talking about kitchen cutlery. But the way that he led us to that point is what makes Teeway so elite. Those are the things that make him such an incredible artist. He takes things that are so relatively simple and makes it complex in context. Bars.
Alright, go ahead. Yeah, as for replay value, this is a track that we already spun back 3 times.
Yeah.
Just getting
We spin
ready
this
just getting ready to get our numbers together, we were just playing this back over and over. It made it to my playlist off rip just because of the energy he already came in with, just starting. Like his energy throughout this whole project.
Yeah, it's been consistent. It's very consistent.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's different for Teeway, and it's a good different.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't know which Teeway I prefer. I don't have a preference. I think the old Teeway or the new Teeway, well, for lack of a better word, the old Teeway and the new Teeway are just as good as each other.
Like pre-5th chapter and post-5th chapter.
Yeah, and this was just, this was good.
Yeah. So I guess my question for you would be, what are the aspects that make it, put this on my playlist? Like why I listen to it? Like what makes it have that impact on you?
First and foremost, Teeway is very good with choosing his opening lines.
Yeah.
I'd be lying to you if I said that I can remember off the top of my head right now what he said in the beginning that caught me. But he said something
that caught
like,
me,
I'm still saying Bendo living, I'm shattered. And I know that's not an opening line, but that's an opening line to a verse. Like, Teeway's opening lines are different. Like, Lost Little P, he was close to me. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen next.
Yes, that's a fact. That's a big fact. I agree. Yeah, this is one of those that just went straight to our playlist. So if y'all actually want our playlist, let us know. We'll drop it somewhere down in the description or in the comments. But listen, let's just get straight into the overview and the wrap up for this one. Really and truly, as we look at these final scores, it's really no surprise that this one hits right on that 9.17 range. It's Teeway. Like, if I was really rating this one, it probably would have landed somewhere between that 8 and 9 range if I wasn't looking at these actual breakdowns. But as I look at it, it makes sense. What I can confidently say is that this one really wasn't what I was expecting from Teeway in both good and quote-unquote bad ways. Like, there were aspects where I felt underwhelmed, but there were also aspects where I was completely blown away. Just the level of vulnerability, and not even necessarily talking about like the sad or traumatic vulnerability, more like here's the things that pissed me off vulnerability. Like, those are things that we don't get as much from Teeway. And that's what I really appreciated as we hit the end of this project. There were so many new layers to him that we finally got a chance to experience. We also got a chance to experience him on some features, like hearing other people's voices with him. And I think if nothing else at all, that's probably the second of 3 things that really pleased me about this project. Hearing him with other people, also hearing the new layers of vulnerability, and for me, the third, you let me know if you agree, is hearing new producers and new sounds for Teeway. Hearing the more bouncy aspects of it, like hearing him divert away from drill. And that's something that I say very frequently if you follow me on Twitter. When artists who do drill start to divert away, they're going to become way more successful because drill puts you in a very particular box. And I don't know if Teeway knows that or if it's something that he's really like cognizant of. However, ever since feeling it, he's shown us that he doesn't have to only do drill.
Bro said I'm a rapper, I still fling at 24s. Summertime uncomfortable, it's cling up in my drawers. Fuck chased by the constable, they're filling up my wood. But I still raise my hand like I'm winning an award.
But what I will say as a very minor piece of maybe criticism or probably an observation is that there were aspects of this where it felt like these are probably tracks that may have been intended for a later project or maybe didn't even make it into a later project, like an album. It's not to say that they're bad or throwaways in like a degrading way, but in the sense that I kind of get the feeling that he knew that these weren't his best. And I know that artists know when a song isn't their best. And I feel like just looking at the way that this lineup landed in terms of our ratings, the songs that we were most underwhelmed by are right in the middle of the tracks that slapped. So maybe it could obviously just be subjective, but if that is on purpose and if Teeway does know that, that was a very clever move. And ultimately ending with Cutlery, again, it's just A1. That was the perfect way to close out this project.
Now, one thing that you probably heard me say over and over as we've been reviewing this project is he came with a different energy. Completely different energy. His delivery, his vibe, just everything. Like his choice of lyricism or lyrical content was completely different. Like, of course, I've never spent a day or a night in a trap. Listening to Teeway though, you get like the full depiction of what that lifestyle might look like.
That's a fact.
And for the longest time, he's really stayed away from the idea of the violent aspect that may come with it.
Yeah.
And there was a point in time I was actually questioning, like, has Teeway ever experienced that stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, not saying that it's supposed to happen,
yeah,
but when you hear other artists who have those experiences, they always talk about the violent aspect that comes with it, and he never did.
Yeah.
So like now hearing him do that at least once in all of these tracks, it's like, wow, you know, did something happen or did things happen already and you're just now telling us, you know, that was the whole thing we were bouncing back and forth on for a lot of this. He came with a different level of content, just something that we can tap into that we're not used to from him. It worked for him, luckily. Some people, when they delve away from their roots, tend to fall off. This one was just right at par with what he was already doing.
I agree. And at the end of the day, this one right here, this continues to prove exactly why Teeway is one of my favorite artists. If I had to compare him to anybody, and I've made these comparisons a lot before, but he sounds like Pusha T and Sahai the Prince to me. Those are two of my favorite artists. and Teeway gives me exactly what I like from both of them. Speaking on the same kind of things in ways that are just constantly refreshing. And even Pusha T has said that in a bar. He says something like, they say I'm talking this dope thing 9 years long, that means my rap shit is over 9 years strong. It just goes to show you have so much experience in it that you could talk about it in all these ways. And then for those of you who aren't as familiar with Saha the Prince, he's signed to good music, and he's done a lot of writing for artists on good music, including Kanye himself. Like, Saha the Prince talks about these things very similarly to Teeway.
Seemed like it was yesterday. We was still in cars, flipping Escalade. I started selling pounds around 11th grade. It might be off a gram or two, cause nigga, we don't measure weight.
Talking about the trap aspect, talking about the family aspect, talking about the street aspect and the proximity to the violence, right? Whether or not he had to engage in it is another conversation, but just like the proximity to that aspect of the trap life. That's what I love about Saha the Prince, and that's why Saha the Prince is actually my favorite rapper, period, in general. Because I could play a project knowing I'm going to be hearing about similar things, but it's going to be a matter of how you're going to say it now. And that's exactly what Teeway does. And if there's anybody I would want to hear Teeway on a track with outside of the UK, it's definitely Saha and Pusha T. And I think they would also push him to a new creative space to talk about the stories in ways that are even more vulnerable while still maintaining a level of discretion. And that's what I love about Pusha T and Saha. And I think that's the main reason why I like Teeway so much, because he alludes to so many things that I like about those artists too.
And anyone who is a hip-hop enthusiast knows that the roots of hip-hop is storytelling. Yep. And I find that many artists that are in this realm that we're listening to now, they do that very well. And when they do that very well, it's a captivating experience. And Teeway's done that consistently well. Like, he's one of the best storytellers in drill right now.
Period. I agree, 1000%. But listen, let us know in the comment section down below what were some of your favorite tracks. I think probably because it's the very last one that I heard, but I think Cutlery is probably my favorite one on this project right now. Obviously Breaking Bad, I've heard it so many more times, so I do have a slight bias towards that one, but I think objectively by my standards, Cutlery is probably my favorite. I think it had aspects of every single thing on this project that made this project so refreshing. The bounciness, the new kinds of beats, hearing him speak in different ways. Everything that makes him Teeway and then some was on Cutlery. And that's why it's my personal favorite.
Right now, my favorite takeaway was Dinner Time. And I think it's just because he tapped into that vibe that I'm used to hearing on our side of the world now. Yeah. And, you know, it wasn't exactly what we hear, but it was definitely close enough to it, and then keeping those same root elements of Teeway.
That's fair. I agree. But as usual, let us know in the comment section down below what y'all think. What was your favorite track on this project? And who are some artists you want to hear on a future Teeway project? We already mentioned Fizzler, we mentioned T Zandos, we've talked about Millions, you know, off camera a little bit. But who do you want to hear? And as always, hang tight for some more reactions. I do got more of those coming for y'all. But until next time, peace.